Welcome to the Rise Report Live on the entertainment side. And I've just checked out the movie Elio, which I believe is how you pronounce it. Elio was a very interesting film, y'all. And yes, it's a film for kids, but I can say I actually kind of like the film. Okay. The film was a pretty good film at the end of the day. All right. This film highlights Elio, the title character, and Elio is trying to make contact with aliens, and he's a kid doing kid things, but he wants to make contact with aliens. Hey, I can't be mad at you. As a kid, why not make some contact with aliens? The thing is, in this particular film, Elio actually makes contact with aliens. So it's a kind of a quote unquote magical experience. Now, is our children going to like this particular film? Absolutely. Okay, it was a great film that was put together, and I actually got to say a lot of good messaging was in this film. Now there was some tough situations to deal with. Elio is his parents unfortunately passed away, so he did end up having to live with an auntie, you know, and you know a child going through a difficult situation, adjusting to living with an auntie, and of course, his auntie didn't quote unquote prepare her life to raise a child of a couple that's gone. But I mean, people lose family, and sometimes you got to go with somebody. So Elio ends up with an aunt, and she's doing what she can as an aunt. Now she's with the military, and Elio was very much into wonderment, amazement, and things like that. And Elio does believe, regardless of what's said, that aliens are out there, and Elio wants to communicate with these aliens. And Elio actually makes a communication. So now you have him, at a certain point, the aliens actually respond to him, and they believe he's the leader of Earth. They're aliens, so they don't know really what's going on. And it's a group of aliens with a lot of different aliens from all over the universe, and they're looking at him like he can potentially be part of what they do. And since we're talking about a little kid, is a little kid just gonna clarify situations and tell the aliens the truth right away? Of course not. Why? Because you got to go on some type of magical adventure, which is exactly what happened in this situation. Now, the thing is, you know, you have these aliens that are doing their thing, but part of their thing is including different alien species and manners of creatures to be a part of what they call a communiverse. But somebody wants to take it over, of course. Gotta have a good storyline in there anyway. So Elio, who allows the aliens to believe that he is the leader of Earth, volunteers to negotiate a deal so they will not be taken over. So of course now we just put a kid in charge of what's going to happen to a mass amount of aliens who are supposed to be some of the best and brightest of their particular worlds, but they had yet to figure out that Elio's a kid because that you gotta let certain things go in a kid's movie. But as an animated movie, I gotta say, y'all, this was fantastic. The themes that were going on in the movie, learning to deal with loss to a certain degree was a good thing. I think that was nice to have in the film. I mean, even children has to know the world will not go your way just because you want it to go that way. That's just not how life works. And during this adventure they were having, Elio ends up making a friend with a perceived warlord. Well, no, actually, technically a warlord. He makes a friend of the warlord's son, and he talks to him. So it's a good story about friendship, and y'all, which I'm a little surprised with in this particular movie, because it is a Pixar movie, but of course, Disney owned Pixar, if my memory is correct. So this movie actually also gave a lot to do with the connection of a father and son and how important that connection is. So there was some good lessons that were put into this film, how family is important. And even though you can experience things and you can have amazing things come true and to fruition, do you really want to give all that up because, you know, there's a world that you can be a part of that even other humans don't know, which was kind of what was going on with Elio actually making contact with the aliens. But, you know, is it worth giving up Earth? Is it worth giving up family? Are you truly loved? There was a lot of great lessons for kids in this movie. While a parent can truly enjoy the movie itself, the story was put together in such a way that anyone watching the movie should like the movie. Okay. So, as an animated film, this was a top-notch film. But you know, Pixar is known for making some great movies, and I'm gonna say this is another great movie that Pixar has made. So they did a fantastic job. I would recommend anyone take their kid to go see this particular movie, and I'm pretty sure you're gonna like it as well. So that's my take on the situation, y'all. If you like this type of content, make sure you subscribe to the channel. There'll be content dropping here daily. If you don't know, I'm Roger. I'm right, and I'm out.